SwiftUI gives us a range of functionality for dealing with color. It manages to be both simple and powerful, which is a really hard combination to pull off. To try it out, let's make a Z stack in here with a single text label saying your content. Now, if we want to put anything really behind the text, we've got to place it above the Z stack like this. But what if we want to put some red behind there? Just red behind this Z stack. One option is to use the background modifier, which can be given a color to draw like this. .background.red. That might be what you expected, but there's a good chance it was a surprise because only the text view has the background color, even though we applied the background to the Z stack. In fact, there's no difference between placing the background modifier here and placing it here. The result's the same because the stack will always fit its content. If you wanted to fill in the whole area behind this text, what you'd do is place the color red in the Z stack by itself before the text view, like this, color.red. In fact, color.red is a view in its own right, which is why it can be used like shapes and text and more. Now, just for clarification, when we're using the background modifier, we could say .background.red. Now we've got to say explicitly color.red, because SwiftUI no longer has that extra context to figure out what .red means. We've got to be exact. We mean color.red. Now, as you can see, colors automatically take up the full available space on the screen, but you can also control it. You can say, I want to use a frame modifier to provide an exact width and an exact height. So I'll say my color red has a frame with a width of 200 and a height of 200. So asking for a 200 by 200 point square. That's red. You can also specify minimum and maximum widths and heights, depending on the layout you want to have. For example, we could say, I want a color that's no more than 200 points high, but could be less. But for its width must be at least 200 and can stretch up to anything. Take all the spaces available. We'll say color.red. Frame min width is 200. Max width is a special value, .infinity. And max height, 200. So we've got exact control here. And you might have guessed SwiftUI gives us a bunch of colors to work with. There's red here. We could have used blue, like that. We could have used green. There we go. Mint's a lovely one. Beautiful. And then it's indigo, one of my personal favorites. Gorgeous. But beyond that, we also have semantic colors. Colors that don't say exactly what hue they have, but instead describe their purpose. So, for example, we could have said color.primary. And we'll get a big black screen like this. This is an adaptive color. If we ran that back in our actual device, it might appear black, it might appear white. We don't actually know. It depends on what device they have right now and what configuration it has. So here's my code here. And if I press Shift-Command-A, it'll go to light mode. And then it goes the way around. So it flips it. So that's dark mode. That's light mode. So it flips it round. So primary refers to the primary color used for text. There's also color secondary. And secondary is also white or black, depending on the dark or light mode setting the user has. But you can see it appears grey. That's because even though it is white or black, it has translucency behind it. It's lower than opacity of 100%. And so it'll show some color behind it. For example, if I had color.blue behind this, now you get a steel grey color. It's overlapping the secondary color, transparent black, translucent black, on top of the plain blue. If you need something specific, go for it. You can do color and then pass in completely custom values. Let's do red 1, green 0.8, and blue 0. Should get a nice gold color. There we go. So they're really customizable things. But regardless of which color you choose, notice how it always leaves a space at the top, white, and some space at the bottom, white. How much space it leaves depends on your device. This is an iPhone 13 Pro canvas here, so you can see it's leaving all the space at the top with the rounded corners and the notch where the clock goes and the Wi-Fi signal goes, plus space at the bottom, again where the rounded corners are and where the home indicator is. All left uncolored. This is left intentionally blank. I mean, Apple does not want important content to be obscured by the notch. That'd be a disaster. And so the remaining part, this whole gold area here, we call that the safe area. This is a safe place where you can put content. You can draw whatever you want in there without worrying that it might be clipped by the notch in an iPhone, for example. If you want your views to go out of there, you can say ignore safe area as a modifier. And this will make sure it goes edge to edge, depending on which options you provide. You could say ignore top safe area, ignore keyboard safe area. It's down to you. For example, this is a Z stack here. I'll do color.red and then text your content. And then we'll attach to this thing dot ignores safe area. Now there are no parameters being passed in here, so it ignores all the safe areas. It now goes top to bottom as you'd expect. It is critically important that you do not put important content outside of the safe area because it might not be visible. It could be impossible entirely to see. Some views, which you've seen already, like form, for example, they do put content outside the safe area because they can scroll into view. They add extra insets into the view so the user can scroll fully to make sure things are fully visible. Now, if your content is just decorative, like our color is here, fine. Ignore safe area. Like the iOS weather app, for example, has pictures of clouds in the background. That can go edge to edge. Does not matter. It's just decoration. But anything important, please try and keep it inside the safe area. Before we're done, there is one more thing I want to mention. As well as fixed colors like red, green, blue, plus semantic colors like primary and secondary, there are also materials we can use. And these apply a sort of frosted glass effect over whatever comes below them, which allows us to create some really beautiful depth effects. Now to see this in action, we're going to build up our Z stack a little bit so it has two colors inside of our stacks. So we'll say there's a Z stack, then a V stack with color.red. We'll also add color.blue. So they're going to split up the available space between them. I'll say this thing has spacing of 0, so it goes right to the center, like that. Then we have text your content, and we'll say this thing has a foreground color of secondary with padding of 50 and a background of ultra thin material, a nearly entirely translucent material. And now you're going to see this layout here. You can see a little bit of the red coming through and a little bit of the blue come through. The colors shine through. Now, helpfully, iOS automatically adapts the effect based on the user's appearance, if they're in light mode or dark mode. So here we have dark mode, and here we have light mode. They adapt automatically, which is really, really nice. Now, there are other material thicknesses available. There's thin, regular, thick, ultra thick, and so forth. But there's something even neater I want to show you, and it's super, super subtle. So I want you to pull out the bottom of your canvas. You'll see these buttons here for zooming in and out. I'd like you to zoom in. Go to 400%. Really zoom in so you'll see your content nice and big here. This is grey. And it's grey because it's got a secondary foreground color, which is translucent, it's black, right? SwiftUI gives us an alternative that provides a slightly different but beautiful effect. And if you change foreground color to foreground style, you'll see it in action. Let's press resume, and hopefully, there we go. So there's foreground style. I'll hit undo. And that's foreground color. It's subtle, I know. That's style. That's color. It's real subtle. But maybe you'll see better on your screen. When we're saying foreground color, we're seeing just plain gray, basically. When we have foreground style, a little bit of the red and the blue shines through. It is what Apple calls Vibrance Effect, vibrancy. It lets a little of the color come through. Not a lot, just a little hint. But when used effectively, this creates really, really beautiful effects and makes sure your text stands out well against whatever background you might try and put it against.